Where do we start for this game? I didn't think I'd be making this video before we played Brighton today for Chelsea, but here we are with another draw for Chelsea. Let's just get into it. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Mike, huge fan of Chelsea, even though they've been struggling as of lately. Still the best club in London though. If you agree with that, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you have not. I greatly appreciate that. There's a few things we need to talk about in this match in particular. Now, one of the big things is our top three. I do not understand what is going on right now with Romelu Lukaku. Ziyech being part of that issue, even though he did score today, minus that goal. I don't think he did a whole lot. There's a lot of errors, and I'll get to him in a second, but I want to go back to Romelu Lukaku. It's just Romelu Lukaku, we bought him for so much. We expected this player coming from Inter Milan to just, come from Inter, drop right into Chelsea and do really good, but that has not happened. The player's been struggling. We obviously know about the interviews that happened a couple months ago, and needless to say, he has not stepped up to what he said he was going to do and what we were promised. Again, you never know when a player comes from a different club, but Romelu Lukaku is not a player that has not played in the Premier League. We've obviously been doing really well when he was at Everton, did fairly okay at Manchester United, didn't do very good his first time at Chelsea, but he was a lot younger. But right now at Chelsea, he is not living up to his value. And you could say, yeah, he's not getting the ball or the service that he deserves, but if you watch him out on the pitch, he does not move to create chances really until we have the ball. What a smart player would do, a striker or an attacking player, is always floating, moving around, getting into the play, and then bouncing around a little bit before we even have the ball, because once we have the ball, then you start making the runs. Well, it's difficult to find that player, and again, the defense is sitting with you and you're not open. If you start floating around a little bit and trying to create chances before you get the ball, it makes a huge difference. And Romelu Lukaku, I don't think, has the capability of doing that right now. I'm not sure exactly why. If he doesn't want to give 100%, if there's something going on with the rest of the players on the pitch, or if he's been given instructions to do that. And if that's the case, that falls on Thomas Tuchel, but I doubt that is the case. But like I said, he needs to be benched. I don't care what you say. If you're even a big Romelu Lukaku fan, right now, the way he's playing, he definitely needs to be benched. Rethink about what he needs to do as a player at this club, because if not, it's going to be a long season yet for Romelu Lukaku, and especially Chelsea, because we cannot find the back of net as much as we should be with a player that we bought, such as Romelu Lukaku. Now, that being said, Ziyech itself, like I said, had the goal, so you can't really say it was terrible, but again, he could have done a lot better in this game, and because with Romelu Lukaku and Ziyech sitting up top, that really created a massive gap for us, because both those players do not track back, as we saw in this game, and therefore puts a lot more pressure on to our midfield. So going forward, I don't think Thomas Tuchel should really ever go with Romelu Lukaku and Ziyech together. Now, whether he wants to go with Romelu Lukaku with two other players or Ziyech with two other players, that's fine by me. But the way this game went just shows you again that these two players cannot play together, and I'm not sure if Ziyech needs to go on his way out, or again with Romelu Lukaku, even though we just bought him. But that being said, I'm not too sure if that is Thomas Tuchel. Now, speaking of Thomas Tuchel, I think he also got his tactics wrong in this match today, but it might be a few reasons why, because players look completely gassed right now at this club, especially Marcos Alonso and Azpilicueta, which isn't really too surprising with all the injuries we've had, as Azpilicueta's had to step up, play for Reece James, even though Reece James has been out. Hopefully he can come back sooner than later. Ben Chilwell's obviously out for the rest of the season, so Marcos Alonso is playing a lot more minutes, and they're both kind of playing as wing backs. So they're going up and down the pitch, and they're both fairly older players, which I'm not too sure why Thomas Tuchel just hasn't switched to a back four, because if we play a back four, those four players that can kind of unite and not have to push up as much, so that Rudiger and Thiago Silva don't have as much pressure as well. But I'm not too sure why Thiago Silva or Thomas Tuchel keeps thinking that we should do more of wing backs right now, because like I said, it's not working out. Alonso getting gas, Azpilicueta, I think it was in the 60th minute. A player just ran right by him, even though he had like 6 steps on him. So again, that is part of our issue. And because of that, then that puts more pressure onto our midfield. Even though Kovacic, Jorginho, and Conte are elite players, they can only do so much. And again, if they're getting more and more pressure coming from the other team, they eventually can't hold it, and therefore it's going to open up channels in the defense, or in our defense, I should say, and that's going to lead to a lot of errors, and eventually it will lead to a goal. Now, that being said, we also have to talk about defense. What were we even doing on that corner kick? I mean, I'm not even upset with Kepa because that was such a rocket of a header. I don't think he had enough time to even react to what happened, but it was a free header almost in the 6-yard box, I think. And the fact that he was wide open, no one challenging him, just shows you that our defense is lacking with concentration on corner kicks and just concentration in general. The only players that I feel like are doing really well defensive-wise is Thiago Silva. Rudiger, yes, pretty much, but again, every now and then he does have a few blips here. But again, Thiago Silva, if it wasn't for him, we probably would have a lot more goals in this game. And I have to applaud Brighton in this game because I feel like they probably should have won this game, even though they were sitting in 9th going into this game and we were sitting in third. And this whole game, Brighton was attacking, they were controlling, and it looked like Chelsea was a mid-table team in this game, and therefore, again, we need to do something different. I don't know if it's changing our tactics up, changing our attacking third, because again, when Timo Werner and Kai Havertz came on, it was a whole different attacking third up front. There was more pace, there was more energy, and we actually put more pressure onto Brighton, even though we did not score. There was maybe 1 or 2 opportunities that maybe we should have had a better chance, but that being said, we got to change something up because right now the title that's completely gone. I talked about that before, and after this match it is gone. That's long gone, not happening anymore. 4th place though, the top 4, that now becomes a race for Chelsea. We are currently sitting in 3rd in front of West Ham, behind obviously Liverpool and Manchester United, but Arsenal have games in hand. If they win all theirs, they will be right there with the same amount of points. Obviously they'll be below us because of goal differential. Tottenham have multiple games in hand. If they win all their games, they will go ahead of us, which with Conte, I wouldn't be too surprised if they win those games. And again, the way we are playing right now, we just look tired, fatigued, gassed, whatever you want to say. And because of that, I'm very worried with the next couple of weeks, next couple of matches, where this will lead us, because the form we're on right now is terrible, to say the least. I mean, Thomas Tuchel definitely should take some blame for this, even though again we've had injuries, COVID, so on and so forth. But right now he's definitely not making the right decisions. Needs to rethink about who he needs to start in the starting 11 and go from there, because Hudson-Odoi as well too, I don't think had a very good game. He should have been subbed off at some point, but yet stayed on the whole time. And yeah, it's just one of those games that I'm glad it's over and we got a point at least, but I can't even believe I'm saying that. We got a point from Brighton, but we got a point from Brighton, and therefore we need to move on to our next match and change up our tactics, change up the formation, and get some players that will bleed blue for Chelsea. So I know this is more of a rant today on the topic of the match highlights, but again, I just had to say all that. So that is all I have for you today. I want to know what you think though, so comment down below if you agree with me, disagree, or what you think Chelsea should do different, including Thomas Tuchel. And if you have not, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that, and I will see you next time.